There are more viable vintage decks than there are vintage players. I'm going to show you how to build a non-blue Lurrus aggro deck that immediately got me the 5-0 trophy. All right, welcome back, vintage gamers, to an off-stream recording. One of the things I want to do with maybe the increase of off-stream recordings is something that I haven't been able to do particularly well over the last few years, which is iterate on deck ideas that interest me. A lot of times I will jump around deck ideas so that we can have new and fresh videos so that everybody can find things that they are interested in watching. And that does leave me, I'll make a deck and then hope somebody picks it up. And if nobody picks it up, then the deck kind of falls along the wayside, even though I think it has, opportunity to be a very powerful deck in vintage. So one of the things we're going to iterate on here is the Lurrus aggro idea. The two deck archetypes that I think should exist in vintage that currently don't exist are Lurrus aggro decks that are not blue, and non-Lurrus blue controlling decks, usually probably playing Quantum Riddler. I think both of those deck ideas have a lot of merit, and I'm surprised that neither are being played to any kind of degree. So we've played a couple different Lurrus aggro decks on the channel. We've played mono black with Super Shredder and that kind of thing. We played mono white cats, like very heavily into Cavern, into Cats theme. We've played different blue white energy shells, and this deck will actually end up looking quite similar to a legacy deck because I'm kind of going in that direction. For those who play legacy, they probably know that Mardu Energy is quite a powerful deck in legacy. The reason a deck like this I don't feel like has a great chance of working in vintage is because this is very value oriented. Triple colors is very prohibitive in my opinion, and it's a bit more on the grindy side. And the interaction suite I don't think lines up very well with vintage, which is why I kind of ignored it in the past. But after we played a couple of different brews with the black aggro deck and the white aggro deck, we found cards in each of those decks that worked really well, and then we found shortcomings for each of those decks that made us pause and say, okay, well, maybe this isn't working. And what we really wanted was to find an aggressive suite that gets to play this May, whatever she's called. Because you need to make sure you have a very powerful attacking engine. In the other version, we were playing Super Shredders and Moon Shadows and Nethergoyfs, and we weren't super happy with like the 1-drops. Whereas in the white deck we were really happy with the 1-drops, but we weren't as happy with the interaction. So today we're trying to bring those two together in a way that gives us a powerful attacking engine, but good anti-vintage hate pieces. So what are those anti-vintage hate pieces we're going to play? I mean, we're going to play some Stony Silence in the main. People have suggested maybe playing 4 Stony Silence in the main. I feel like it's not that ubiquitous in the metagame at the moment. So we're going to go with 2. 2 Stony Silence, 2 MacD, who really impressed us when we played the white version. 4 Bowmaster, which did impress me in the black version, and it has been impressing me recently just because there's a lot of Raker Shops going around right now. And Orcish Bowmaster is a great hate piece for Raker Shops. And then obviously Maimai over here is great. And then for our more, attacking oriented portion of our deck, we're going to have the energy package of Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, and also some Voice of Victory and some Ajani. Now, I am foregoing playing the red cards like Hexing Squelcher, Amp Raptor, Goblin Bombardment, because I don't feel like they fit what we're trying to do with how this deck attacks vintage. Not that they're bad cards, but they don't fit our idea of a game plan. But the one reason I do want to keep Ajani, even though people don't usually like Ajani as much, is it combines so well with Cabal Therapy, and I think Cabal Therapy Thoughtseize is going to give us that needed interaction piece to play against blue combo decks. So we're doing some weird things with our numbers here. I'm going to play a probe for my therapies, and I'm going to play a misstep to protect us from swords, but I'm only going to play 2 of my own swords. I think that like with mono white initiative kind of coming down, the number of like swords you want to have in your deck is variable. Now, see, like I'm already changing my idea. I think I think I just want to So like I want to have Voice of Victory because it is tokens for therapy and for souls and theoretically a red card for Flip to Johnny. But man, I just don't know that like this is a good enough card. Like I really don't think this card is very powerful, even though it says, you know, opponents can't play spells on your turn. I actually don't know that that's actually very good in Vintage. So I was thinking maybe I'll just go 2 voices down, 1 swords back, 1 more Ajani. And then I could get access to another Serenity. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Either way, sorry, I have been changing it around. Trying to get the right numbers here is hard, and it will probably take a couple more leagues of testing. But what I wanted to add is in the Vexing Bauble and the Chalice of the Void to give us additional hate pieces to go with our 5 strip mines and our other effects. And so this is going to be my first attempt here on a more of a hybrid version of the couple different Lurrus aggro decks we played. I actually think Serenity is one of the better cards in the sideboard right now as people are picking up lots of Sphere Shops. This is a great card against Sphere Shops. Doesn't obviously play well with Stony Silence, so you don't get to like really bring it in as much for decks where you really want Stony Silence, like Raker and Jewel, but I might still bring it in against Raker. We'll have to see how it lines up, just because we have all these Stony Silences already. And then for Graveyard Hate, I'm going to play 4 Priest, 2 Crypt, just because we're already going to be in this kind of full Moxen Plains-based deck. I think Priest plays a little bit better. And then I'm going to play Crypt because it's like the best one for Lurrus Recursion. And then we'll play 2 Traps. So this is our idea here. We're trying to use all the best pieces that we found from the mono white version and the mono black version and see what it looks like together in an Orzhov energy shell. I'll see you in round 1. I am happy to announce the dates for high stakes proxy friendly vintage in 2026. The legendary NYSE returns to Long Island in New York on June 6th. This $500 entry fee tournament will pay out 8 pieces of unlimited power. The Oklahoma Land Run returns in 2026 on July 10th through 12th at the Reed Convention Center in Oklahoma City. Play Friday Team Trios, Saturday Legacy for a Mox Sapphire, and Sunday Vintage for a Mox Emerald. Event links can be found in the description below. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. All right, round 1 versus Pepe. Have a cat. Have to see if he's on Jewel or not. I can't imagine not playing out this hand. Yeah. If we knew what opponent was on, we'd have some varying choices here on what we want to play on turn 1. As it stands, something like Therapy on Force of Will, play Bauble is probably what I'm leaning towards. But that play is like not as good against like turn 1 One Ring is the problem, right? I guess it's hard to turn 1 One Ring if you do that, but they can still go like Workshop Monolith Ring, so I think in the blind, I really just like naming Therapy. So one of the problems and one of the reasons I didn't play a Vexing Bauble in my initial build is because it plays really badly with Flashback Therapy. So like next turn, if I didn't have a Bauble, I could go Bowmasters and then Therapy off of the token. Something to consider as we play through these matches, because I don't know. I thought Bauble wasn't worth it. And we'll see. So here, Bauble does stop our opponent from playing turn 1 Lodestone Golem. So we'll play Vexing Bauble to stop the Emerald, and my opponent will probably go Ancient 2 Monolith. And then we have something like Strip Mine Macd. Never mind. They drew Workshop and they're playing turn. Never mind. So I can actually kill this Lodestone Golem with a Bowmaster and a double block. So bad, man. It's such a bad outcome for me. I think I need to hold open this. I need to keep this Strip Mine, though, because I can't play any of my spells through this Lodestone. My opponent might just not attack because it's pretty obvious I have a Bowmaster, but they're going to eat my Therapy, which I guess doesn't matter because I have a Vexing Bauble, so... And a top. And an Ancient Tomb. And they drew another spell. And a Time Vault. See. Well, I think we were in a good spot until our opponent ripped +1 mana off of the workshop. With just the Ancient Tomb, we would have been able to slow our opponent down and then wasteland them. Or even cast Stony Silence if we could even cast Stony Silence, lose our Emerald, and not wasteland them. I think we actually had a really good chance in this game until our opponent ripped a workshop. All right, at least they're trading their Lodestone Golem for an Orcish Bowmaster. That feels like a good outcome for us. Because now we're able to use our Strip Mine. And we have some plays at least. We can always bring it back later with Lurrus, so. So my opponent has a Mox Emerald in their hand. And I think for us, this Plains draw is great because we can just go... I think what I'll do is crack Bauble. Crack Bauble, Strip Mine Workshop, and play Stony Silence because we have the mana now to play 2-drops because the Lodestone is gone and yeah. This gives my opponent not very much going on. Which I guess is why we put the Stony in the main, so. They immediately find another workshop, but they don't have any more things to do. So we need to just clock our opponent enough here to come out ahead. I think the answer is going to start with a MacD. And then a Johnny. And I don't think there's any reason to Chalice now, but yeah. This is like not a very good Chalice deck. It's only good on 0 and also only good on the play. So I don't really like it. My opponent ripped the 1 ring, tapped, just prevents 2 damage. Not a big deal. So I guess it just is net 0 actually, when all things considered, because it costs 2 life to cast. All right. So yeah, this Chalice doesn't do very much. I guess I should just play it for 0 anyways. I don't know that does anything. Best draw is a land. It's fine, I guess. Best draw is a land so that we can buy Lurrus. And then we can get back Bowmaster too. But this Stony Silence main might just be enough to win, so. All right. I mean, that is our deck working exactly as intended versus one of the most played decks in the field, so. Pretty happy about that. Now we have the hard question of how exactly are we approaching the matchup post-board? Are we bringing in Serenities, or are we just playing the 4 Stony Silence? Definitely taking out Probe and Bauble and Chalice on the draw here. I want all my swords. I don't know how much I want. Like the greatest part of this matchup is all of our 2-drops are insane. Stony Silence, May, Bowmaster, and MacD are all great against our opponent's deck. That's our big plus side here. Like maybe I can get rid. Yeah, I don't think I can even fit Serenity anyways. I could maybe get rid of. I don't want to get rid of any fast mana because I think I'm just gonna get rid of Thought Seizes on the draw. Yeah, maybe just Thought Seizes on the draw. I mean, it could be like Ocelot Prides or Johnny's or something. Maybe it's like we don't really want to grind with a Johnny here, so maybe that's the plan. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good example of how to target a deck like Raker at the top of the metagame. This is a pretty good example of... I may have messed up my mana base. 4 plains, 4 scrubland, 4 marsh flats. It's really hard to play a basic swamp in this deck with this being our 1-drop slot. But I may have overdone it on the basic plains. I mean, this hand's not close to keepable anyways, so just mulligan this. This is a MacD on turn 2 with a Bowmaster and a guide. Yeah, I mean, I think this is fine. I don't think this is like our best hand or anything, but I don't really want to put away a Black Lotus turn 1. Okay. Is it a 1 ring? Wish I had a Mindbreak Trap, I guess. Lodestone again. Okay. It's been kind of odd with these lodestones. Stony. Huh. The problem is this Tezzeret is really scary. And I'm worried that this lodestone is going to prohibit me from being able to cast spells in this game. I think I actually do need to have Serenity in my sideboard. In my deck. But it might be hard to play post board if we're going to bring back Chalice and stuff. This lodestone golems have been really, really annoying. Yeah, it's like way too bad for me if my opponent doesn't attack with lodestone this time. But I also like don't know how we're stopping our opponent from just Tezzeret ulting us because we don't have Serenity. If we had Serenity, I think we'd be fine. But this doesn't look very playable from my spot. I guess we just have to hope our opponent attacks into our lodestone golem again. Or attacks their lodestone golem into our bowmaster again. I don't know how else we play this game out. It looks like impossible if he doesn't attack into it again. It's really bad. Yeah, that's a problem too. That's the kind of one of the reasons I was thinking about maybe we do. I guess Serenity's not very good against this card, so maybe I just have to save my swords for Argentum Masticores. Yeah, he learned this time, did not attack into our Bowmaster. Okay, I'm gonna go to game 3 here. I still feel like I want Mindbreak Trap, but I do want Vexing Bauble Chalice now. Let's take out a Johnny and 1 therapy. I only have 4 swords. I really do need to hold swords for Masticore. That is, I guess, a downside of the Serenity plan versus Masticore. Also, like, I'm just like not sure if Vexing Bauble Chalice is that good against Workshop. Like, if they have a Lotus or something or a Mana Crypt, then yeah, sure. But if not, like, is it even good? Don't know. I have a cat. I have a Chalice and a Swords and double Wasteland. And I mean, yeah, let's do it. They F6? They have no... All right, well, maybe Chalice is good then, I guess. Sorry. I guess Chalice is just great. My bad. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna get a Lurrus, even though I can't replay my... I cannot replay my Lotus with my Lurrus, but I think having a Lurrus in play here is how we close this game, so... Yeah, I guess Chalice is nuts. My bad. Saga Gaming. All right. Yeah, I got a couple Wastelands for that one. All right. Soul Ring is pretty good against Chalice. Grim Monolith. Key. All right. See, look at that. Who needs Moxen? Needle on Wasteland. Wow, that would be so good here if I didn't have a strip mine sandbagged. I mean, it's still really good here, actually. That's actually a great one, too. Because I can play that through Chalice. All right. All the cards are coming up golden here. Sorry about your Urza Saga. Would have been quite good. The fact that we drew Vexing Ball was actually really great. What is this? A ring? Ring is good here. Tezzeret. I guess Tezzeret's pretty good too. I don't know. We might not even be favored from this spot until we find a Stony Silence. I wonder if my opponent should have untapped the Soul Ring with the Mana Key and then untapped it with the Tezzeret. Don't know. Swords this. Attack, Tezzeret. I'm going to play the MacD out here. And then I'll crack Bobble end of turn. This should help. Creatures and artifacts come into play tapped. Should help a lot here. They do have an Ancient Tomb that'll help do our damage because we're giving them a lot of life back with swords, probably. Workshop, okay. Well, they found the lands. How many? Maybe their hand was just Emerald, Soul Ring, Key. Maybe one more. One more. All right, so they're out of action. So maybe they had 2 more Moxen in their hand. I feel like I can just keep cracking these because I have a Chalice. All right, I will attack Pepe and attack Tezzeret. And then I will play a Guide of Souls. Looks good. I guess Time Vault wins, but can't do much about that until I find a Stony Silence. Time Vault does win because Time Vault entering tap does not matter. Too funny. I mean, we're drawing extra cards every turn. Should find our Stony Silence at some point. Phasing out Lurrus. Saves 3 life and stops a bobble draw. Solid. Solid play. Therapy. I don't know. I feel like there's nothing here that could possibly matter. Yeah, Mindbreak Trap. Mindbreak Trap. It's a very odd one to bring in. All right, I mean, they're on like a Time Vault win, so a One Ring is pretty good here too. I just have no Stony Silence, you know? If I had Wasteland unlocked, it'd be quite powerful. But not even that good. It's a portable hole on Chalice. Doesn't really change anything, though. Portable hole on MacD is probably the best play. I assume this is a portable hole. Like, what else are you going white mana for? Yeah. All right. Helps the clock situation. Like I said, I think the only card that really matters in my deck right now is Stony Silence. That's got to be the one. You gotta be a little careful with my Vexing Bauble and Mindbreak Trap, I guess. Ocelot Pride. Oh, I guess I I don't have a Vexing Bobble in play. I can cast Therapy. Interesting. I didn't really even think of that. If I wanted to get rid of Mindbreak Trap. All right. Last turn to rip Time Vault or One Ring. Both have pretty high chances of winning, to be honest. I actually think we got quite lucky here because we just never found one of our 4 Stony Silences and we got there. But I don't know. I like the concept. It seems good. All right, let's continue. Looks like a Lurrus battle. Lurrus battle should be pretty interesting. But I like our chances. We'll see what happens. Keep. I'm gonna go Thoughtseize and see what we're up against. Which kind of Lurrus deck? I got Mental Missteps. Okay, I won't see what kind of Lurrus deck they are. My bad. Sorry for my assumption. The assumption that I would. Okay, fine. Wasteland, my Scrubland. Sure. All right, so fair Lurrus. As long as we can find another basic, push through here, I'll be pretty happy. Yeah, unfortunately, like, the sequencing here is not very good. Don't see any, like, this card is not really for this matchup. Oh, it's 100. Spur. And then I don't have a black source. I don't know, like, can I play a swamp in this deck, chat? Am I crazy to think, like, having a swamp is a bad idea? maybe, oh, wow, that's pretty big. I will play a Bowmaster in response to your Brainstorm. I assume this has to get Force of Willed, or you're in trouble. Just, okay, got forced. Pitching Cruise. All right, I mean, that was a great sequence for us, so. I don't know. My gut instinct is a swamp is bad here, but what do I know? Well, I didn't fetch for anything, so it's not like I could have fetched for a swamp. It was a really weird timing on a Brainstorm, just like main phase after playing a land, but I'll take it. Wasteland on our side would be pretty good. All right, I will play a 2/2 flyer. It's kind of all it does, unfortunately, but we're gonna have to try to find another scrub land for our human noble ally here to go with our spider human hero. I'm a little worried, honestly. I'm a bit worried. I guess technically any non-black land gets us to Lurrus. So there's some games there. Alright, there's no reason not to attack. And a Johnny's not bad. Caracas a Johnny is a bit of a combination if we had more mana. Swords on it? Okay with that. Or maybe they thought they were going to Bowmaster it, but didn't realize it flew. Also, your creature's coming to play tapped, so. Now they're going to Bowmaster our Johnny, but I don't think us, like, I don't think us taking a whole turn off here because of Bowmaster is, like, a playable play. Though I guess what I could have done is not attacked so that I could block a Bowmaster. How big is this thing? 3? I think that's actually fine. I feel like we still flip. Maybe this attack was bad. Interesting. Oh, just swords on my Johnny. That's fine. Acceptable. And a Cirque. Okay, so they have 2 cards and a land plus a card they return. We've got some power in play. We've got a Caracas for a Lurrus on the opposing side. We have a Swords for a Frog. We can't cast this, but I'd love to be able to cast that. Paying costs. They already used Cruise to pitch, so paying costs would have to be Dig. Marsh Flats. Okay, that's great. Sorry about the new frame Marsh Flats. I only have 3 old frame, apparently. I never thought I would need a 4th Marsh Flats, maybe. This is a Bowmaster, kill my token. No, just another swords. Oh, I should have bounced it. Sorry. I just was so oh, they should have a bowmaster and a swords. Okay. Yeah, that was a bad play. I should have just bounced back my MacD. I don't know why I just clicked through it, but I did. I mean, protecting my May is maybe better, but still something I shouldn't have done. I was like so motherfucker. I was so now they're gonna buy Lurrus. I was so surprised that they actually swords my thing that I just didn't even think to use it. I was just like, what? Wait, what? Okay. This is first striking. I need another land this turn to buy my Lurrus here. Their wasteland on my Caracas is very timely. I definitely made this harder for myself. Wow, my opponent drew another wasteland. So my opponent has 3 wastelands. Oh, that puts us pretty far from Lurrus. The good news is I'm probably resolving swords on their Lurrus. I'm just so far away now. I have to draw with some mana. But if I ever get to mana, like, we'll have the advantage, so... Sword your Lurrus. I can't have mental misstep, so they can only have days here. All right, so I just need to hit mana and get to my get to my Lurrus, right? I don't think wastelanding my opponent is as good as... I can't keep them off Frog, so... Getting to my Lurrus is more important. Yeah, I actually don't know that that's better. I don't think I should play that. I have a Lotus Petal in my yard. Opponent has nothing. I really fucked this game up by not bouncing my May. I would have had it, or by bouncing my MacD. Would have at least had a flyer here, attacking for 2. All right, Marsh Flats. I'm gonna go get a scrubland. So how many scrublands do I have left? 1 scrubland. Hopefully I don't get forced by the time my Lurrus comes down, but we'll see what happens. Like they just go land into Force of Will my Lurrus, maybe. At that point, I think we're super unfavor, unfortunately. Spell Bomb. We've already used 2 swords. Man, if I'd played my Stony Silence out, I would have been able to stop this. So I actually got punished for not playing Stony Silence. I think I'm... Oh, wait, no, I should just counter that. What am I doing, man? I was like, I don't care, but then I realized I care, man. I really care. I super care. I lose my Orcish Bowmaster and my Petal. I was like, I really want to have Mental Misstep to protect my Lurrus from removal, you know? That's what I was thinking. But I think I'm just supposed to slant. And I also want to have Mental Misstep to protect myself from Ancestral Recall. So, like, I don't know. I really want to hold Mental Misstep. They're taking a lot of damage. But losing a Lurrus, losing a Bowmaster here is really bad. So, well, I didn't need to, didn't matter. Maybe I should have been attacking at some point in this game. I think I'm gonna just attack and see what my opponent does later. I think I'm not gonna play our Lurrus out here. I think actually having a Bowmaster and Mental Misstep up is stronger. Could be wrong though. I play this game very sus, I will say, but you know, happens. I have been having some visualization issues with cards in Yard and Lurrus. I lost a game. See, this is why I kept... I mean, this is why I kept the mental misstep. This exact sequence here. Does look like they have hard cast negation, though, but I think that's fine. They know about my mental misstep, so maybe they're just trying to make way for removal on Lurrus, which is, again, I think that's acceptable. But I don't know. I had good reasons, but... Oh, wow. Double Spell Pierce, maybe? I mean, I'll pay. Oh, they just wanted to do that for fun? It's a lot of damage for no reason. Unless they have Ancestral Follow-Up, I guess. But... yeah, I mean, Ancestral Follow-Up would be pretty bad for me, I will say. Because I'm tapped out of Bowmaster mana. Ocelot Pride. Sure. I guess this gives my opponent a decent Bowmaster target here, but... I don't know what matters. 5 life. Also, like, they cast a lot of spells into this card, and they lost a lot of life from it. So they had a Bowmaster. This is a good timing window to Bowmaster my opponent. I mean, I saved my own Bowmaster from getting Bowmastered. That's something. They can't really cast very many more spells in this game. We have a Lurrus coming, so, like, losing a Pride doesn't really matter. A Frog is, like, the card we just don't want to see, but even then, it's not even that big a deal. Another Pride. All right, well, I'm going to attack with my 2/2 First Striker, so... I played... what a weird game. I don't know. I actually think that, like, maybe letting the Nihil Spellbomb go was quite good for me. Because countering swords was, like, insane. It was super good. Now, my opponent was unlikely to draw their 3rd swords, but... yeah, it's still First Striker. This card's so nuts. Sure. Alright, well, I got a Lurrus. Can't even force it. They go to 1. Twister would kill them. Wow. Okay. What a cool game. I love this deck. This deck is sweet. How do we board? That could be a problem. I have an extra swords I can bring in, but that's kind of it. Chalice is definitely bad. But we are kind of just pre-boarded, so... Stony is quite poor, though. I think Stony is quite poor. But what do I even want instead of Stony? Like, is there... I could play... I mean, if I had Soul Guide Lantern, I'd probably play Soul Guide Lantern instead of Stony. I feel like these Mind Break traps are terrible. That's like kind of... it's probably a deck building error that I don't have a good mapping here. So we'll keep that in mind for if we make any fixes. I think I'm just gonna leave in Stonies, I guess. Yeah, that's a deck building error for sure. So what we need to write down is we want to have a better mapping for Lurrus Frog, which means we need to have 2 things that we can bring in at least. 2 more things to bring in at least. Okay. I have a cat. Yeah. I mean, this is man. This is like this Stony Silence was a real Magic card. I feel pretty good about this hand. Got a bunch of mana. Can play stuff. Basic planes. It's certainly so. Like one thing I could do is have a basic swamp in my sideboard for this matchup. So like one swords, one basic swamp, maybe one more removal spell or something. That would be interesting. Another thing we could theoretically do is like blue splash for Time Walk Ancestral, which is very, very doable here. But it's kind of like making our mana worse. Lots of options, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to build, and that's what kind of the reason I'm like, well, why is anyone working in this space? Seems very, very reasonable. Please do not play a freaking turn 1 frog, man. I will be so upset. Okay, turn 1 Bowmaster then. I have to wasteland my opponent, I think. This is a classic example of Gitaxian Probe isn't actually free. People think it's free, but it's not. It's very much not. Because I didn't include Gitaxian Probe in my older version of this deck, and people were pretty upset about that. And I get why, because it does help with Cabal Therapy, but yeah, it's not pretty. Really wish I didn't have a Stony Silence. I'm in trouble. This on-color Mox turn 1 from Frog is very good. That is also really good. I guess it's not that good if I Stony Silence them, though. It's just not very good if I Stony Silence myself, either. I guess if they have a force for this, then it's not very good for it to be me, but... This at least lets them not make constructs under any circumstances, really. It would have to be, like... portable whole Mox or something crazy, so... At the end of this, they'll probably just get a Vexing Bobble, realistically. I guess they could have a Needle. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Strip mine on my basic, huh? Alright, well... The good news is Bowmaster is not really a good card for clocking your opponent. And I can also stop this with a single guide. I think I like thoughts using my opponent, though. If they have another wasteland, I just lose, but... Swords, negation, long goodbye. Okay. Surprised they have negation in at all, but maybe they didn't have a choice. Like we didn't have a choice to keep in Stony Silence. Okay, so my opponent can float a colorless here and then go get something that's turned off. Probably have a Vexing Bobble, so it turns off my probe entirely. Is like the only thing that maybe matters. I guess they could get like a Soul Guide Lantern and hit something, but it doesn't really matter. They probably don't want a Needle Wasteland. They could Needle Wasteland if they had a Needle, maybe. Just get a Soul Guide. And they got a Nihil Spell Bomb just turned off. And there's the Tundra. All right. Well, we got rid of the sword, so hopefully our guide can stay in play a little longer now. If I hit another land, I'd like to go Therapy the Long Goodbye and then play guide. We didn't, so... I mean, I guess I could still do that. I'm gonna just play the guide out. I think it's just better for me to play this out. My opponent will have to hit fetch land right away for him to long goodbye this, and if they long goodbye this, we at least have some follow-ups that are quite good. I think I would rather get something in play than to cast Therapy here. They hit Wasteland. My opponent is a lot better at drawing Wasteland than I am, but I have stabilized on my 1/2, so maybe I'll draw Wasteland now. We can all have Wasteland. No? Would really like it if I could play my spells. Their guide is good, and when I find a land. I have a lot of lands in my deck. I also have 4 fetch lands that fetch basic plains, which would be not wastelandable, which would be nice. If I have 2 guides in play, I feel quite good about this game. Jet. Wow. All right. I do think the Stony Silence saved us from losing this game on the spot, so I'm not actually upset about the Stony Silence. It is just very unfortunate. Opponent's also not drawing lands. Bowmaster. I just can't draw a land. And I can't Gataxian Probe because I just immediately lose the game to this Bowmaster because I'm going to get hit for 2 every turn. All right, we're both just sitting here drawing a million. I drew Black Lotus. Wow. Pretty brutal. They also drew Black Lotus. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this Gataxian Probe. I'm really far away from ever casting that. We just both, neither of us can hit mana. What fun games Wasteland produce. I guess I also Wasteland in this game. I kind of forgot about that. What if we all just cast Wastelands? Not cast. You can't cast Wastelands. Just everyone uses Wastelands every turn for the rest of the all time. What? Come on, man. I have a lot of lands in my deck. I think I'm just going to get rid of this Cabal Therapy. I have no idea when I'm ever casting that. I can cast it from my yard, technically, so... I get to, like, a Bowmaster point in this game. I mean, Marsh Flats. All right. I'm going to get a basic, so I don't get Wastelanded. And I'm going to get another guide in play. Yeah, that got forced. Makes sense. They hit an Underground Sea, so now they have Long Goodbye. They also could have Frog. They could have anything, really. Fatal Push. All right. Get in there. As a Marsh Flats. I am going to go with... I'm going to go with the Bowmaster now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a Bowmaster. I'm going to kill their Bowmaster. And then I'm going to Cabal Therapy their Long Goodbye. I guess they could have a Spell Pierce after this, but they did discard a Spell Pierce. Mental Misstep, Spell Pierce. Okay, sure. I tried. I still have removal. I'm trying to save this for a Frog, to be perfectly honest. Long Goodbye on my Bowmaster. Oh, their own Bowmaster. That's worse for me. Get hit for 2. That is a lot worse for me. I'm running out of life total here. I don't think I can really afford to be Thought Seizing. So I think the answer is just Ocelot, Pride, and Swords. Maybe I'm supposed to do it while he's tapped out. Another Wasteland! What a nightmare. Think about Long Goodbying my Pride. Just attacking with the Arc Army. I think I'm forced to swords this at this point, unfortunately. Just my health total dropped too low. I got wastelanded too many times. I mean, now they're going to have to kill this unless they have a frog follow-up, so... Wow, what a game. What a match. Vintage is great. Oh, they have a frog follow-up. Wow, what a complete and utter nightmare for me. I feel like everything that could go wrong here went wrong. We just lost the game on the spot. Am I supposed to trade this pride into a token? Probably not. Oh, yeah, we just lost the game on the spot, unfortunately. Maybe I should have taken 2 more damage, man. I guess I should have just taken 2 more damage. I don't know. This is like the worst things that could have possibly happened at every point, though. Like, second, another removal spell, Bowmaster, Wastelands more than I had Wastelands. It doesn't kill me on the spot. I go to 1, but... I have to draw another swords to beat this, and I'm probably have to draw like or maybe a land to block. I don't know. I was holding the swords for Bowmaster the whole game, and I just, unfortunately, my life total was getting a little too low. Maybe I would have been better off playing a 2-drop that turn. 2 Lavinias got pitched to Frog. It's kind of interesting, because I think keeping a Lavinia and playing it here against my 2/1/1 lifelinks is actually quite good. They have a long goodbye as their last card, but like that only gets rid of one of these. I kind of don't like that play a lot. Hopefully I can hit a fetch land or a scrub land here. Oh, I just could not hit any of the cards that I needed to win this game, huh? Damn. I think I got horribly RNG'd in this one. Brutal. Super brutal. I do think I could have maybe held the swords one more turn, though. I guess we'll get Chalice back in instead of Stony Silence. I feel really bad about that game. I don't know. I just was working under such worse restrictions. I had all the right cards, actually. I just needed the mana to play them. I could have theoretically fetched double basic planes and played no black spells, but I felt like my black spells were better, you know? I'll have to go back and look, maybe. I don't know. I just felt like it made sense and didn't work out very well. Yeah, I think that's acceptable. I'm worried about getting wastelanded again. I mean, the biggest problem in that game was my basic got strip mined, right? Like, that was the actual biggest problem in that game. I got forced. I mean, 2-for-1s are good for me, kind of. If I get wastelanded here, I'll be so freaking sad. Another jet start? And a basic start? And a frog? Oh, my lord. Well, you know, planes. Okay, planes is good. I can at least go guide. Do I go Bowmaster, or do I just actually just play Pride to start here, and that'll give me a token at least? I think I'd rather just go Pride to start here. I don't know. I could lose my black mana, right? Well, see if Guide Pride is good against Frog. I didn't play Bowmaster, so I got immediately Ancestraled. I don't know. That's so bad for me. Yeah. Somehow I feel like I'm in a bad place. Bowmaster on my pride is really bad for me. If I don't get my creatures removed, like I actually feel pretty good. Like if they play another frog and pass, that'd be pretty good. I guess if they play a frog pass and force my Bowmaster, it's kind of bad. Most situations here look like they're really bad for me. I think they have a Bowmaster, which is not that bad because we can respond at least. It doesn't really help me. So I can still at least hop. So, yeah. All right. I will make you fly, cat. I think I'm just dead, unfortunately. That Ancestral was really, really, really bad for me. But if my opponent had played like Ancestral and then I played Bowmaster and they played another Bowmaster, then I guess I would lose. So I don't know if they had all of those things, but don't want to put it on my guide here just because my guide is likely to get removed. I have like things in the bank if I can get to Lurrus. I just don't really see myself getting there. I draw like Lotus next turn or something. Of course, my wasteland doesn't matter unless they discarded too many lands, which I didn't. They probably want to remove Bowmaster so it doesn't trigger on Frog, but it's probably not too hard to do that. And we are pretty far away from having enough energy to do another guide trigger. And all the while, we're going to be locked down. I guess technically they don't have to remove it. They could just wait with Frog because we can't really attack. Man, I don't know. Let me know in the comments chat. Would you guys have gone for Pride? I feel like going for Pride and building out wide is like a better turn one play, but are they just gonna hit with Frog? Are they gonna jump? What if I just block with token? No, they're gonna jump. They're gonna hit. Okay. And they're gonna draw. I'm gonna ping the Orc army. I guess they could draw another Orc army in response, and it's pretty decent, but I mean, this is racing, right? They kind of have to do something else. So an Orcish Bowmaster or an Ajani is 2 creatures, which would let me jump again. What else is good? Wasteland might be okay. Thoughtseize might be okay. May is probably okay. Vexing Bauble. I don't know. Seems fine. Something. All right, well, I'm attacking with everything. I don't really think my opponent has a Bowmaster at this point, so make him use his swords on something. If you had a Bowmaster, you probably just Bowmaster the Bowmaster in response so that you can have your thing be bigger and it lives, and you just buy Lurrus, and then next turn we have Lurrus Pride with a Bauble, so Fatal Push on my cat, that's fine. That's kind of the power of Guide of Souls, make a cat token a freaking Fatal Push target. And then as long as my opponent doesn't thought seize me, I guess I can have a Lurrus. Okay. Lurrus plus Ocelot Pride is 2 creatures to trigger a Guide of Souls. I mean, I die. I don't get twisted. They have 4 cards in their hand. We're kind of gaming. They're still attacking with Frog, which I don't mind. No jump this time, but I've been trying to attack. They threw away a Sapphire, hit me, hit them. Got a 3/3 army now. Bowmaster they drew. Okay. So they have Bowmaster kill my Bowmaster. Which again, I don't really care that much about. And then if they don't have a removal spell for Guide, I feel pretty good about this next turn too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd have to draw a land to have the Ascendancy. Didn't draw a land for the Ascendancy. But we have what we have. Lurrus. Pride. And they can only make this thing a 3/4 in jump. So I guess we have to jump the Orc army. We don't have to, but it feels like we should. And then they have 2 cards in hand. They'll be at 3 if they don't chump with Frog. Sorry, they'll be at 4 if they don't chump with Frog. I think a land there would have been nuts for me. If I got Ascendancy this turn, it'd be pretty strong, wouldn't it? I mean, even just another token is pretty good. Oh, I get Ascendancy off the first token. Okay, I mean, that's insane. I always forget how broken this card is because I don't play the other formats, but it's so good. Like, they can't race me with their Frog. City's Blessing. There's a Strip Mine, too late. Does get rid of the black source for my 2 black creatures in the yard, though. So it's not nothing. The problem is they can't really attack with a... Oh, I don't have a Bowmaster in play anymore. So they can attack, but they can only jump 1. Demonic Tutor. Can they Twister me? Land Twister? That'd be so brutal at the end of all of this. Land Twister, lose. Sword's my big flyer. Okay, so they have 1 card left. It was Sword's their big flyer. They can only jump 1 frog. They probably want to jump and attack with the big frog. Yeah. I don't have a black source, so I can't play any of my black creatures from my yard, but I do have another creature coming. They could have gone Time Walk here, maybe, and then jump attack. Black source, black source, black source, black source. That's fine, too. Guide of Souls. They just can't do enough. MacD. They can hop something. Can I attack all? Or is it too hard? Let's look at what this attack looks like here. I can make 1 a flyer. I can make Lurrus a flyer. Then attacking with this and this. And this. Because they have to block Lurrus. They could double block this. Block. Double block. Go to 1. I can only jump 1 thing. If I jump this, it's 3, but they can make it big enough. I'll just chill with these. This is the safest attack. There might have been a better attack here, but this feels like the safest attack. And then I get a million things. I might not even lose if I get twisted. Pitch to force. Hop the frog to block. I might not even lose if I get... Oh, they have 3 seconds left on their clock. So I think we also just win because our opponent times out. Okay. I think we're winning this game regardless, because at the end of this turn, we're getting a bunch more pride tokens again, and we're gaining a bunch more life. And I think even if I get twisted, we're probably fine. I wonder if that means I was actually supposed to attack all, because attacking all means my opponent would have had to have block. Now, there's no way I can force them to block with Bowmaster, because they can just chump with Orc Army, take 3, and go to 1. Okay, I think this was fine. Freaking combat math. I'm a vintage player, I don't do that. All right, we continue 2-0. So we played against 2 of the most played matchups in the format. We played against Raker, and we played against Frog, and both seemed very playable. This looks pretty good too. Opponent can be on Welder, on Oath, lots of different things. They play a bunch of different decks. But so far we're answering the format, so so what do I want to do? I think I just want to start by therapying Force. I feel like in the blind, that's just the best thing you can do most of the time. It's just Cabal Therapy Force of Will. It's going to let us know what opponent's working with, and it's the highest chance of actually hitting something across all decks. Look at that. Wow, this is going to end up, oh, so close to being good. So unfortunately, my opponent also has a negation, or else this Chalice would be blanking their Lotus. So they're going to, oh, they just let it happen. That can't be right. Maybe they didn't expect it. Their hand is Show and Tell, Lotus, Bauble, Island, Negation. Okay. I'm going to play a Stony Silence. I think it's I feel like it's a better use of my mana. And it locks my opponent in. I guess like the way this goes badly is my opponent draws Ancient Tomb and an Atraxa on this 2 turns. But I want to strip mine. I'm going to strip mine, but I kind of want to get Stony Silence in first. But that might be just wrong. It might just be wrong. I'm willing to admit that that might be wrong. All right, I got a Guide of Souls. I'm really surprised my opponent didn't negate my Chalice, but maybe they just missed it. Click through it like I did earlier in this tournament, so. Just looking for an Ocelot Pride, really. Therapy. I guess we can therapy on Show and Tell. There's kind of no reason not to. Okay, so they did draw Atraxa, so I really think I actually was going to lose this game if my opponent just negated, which is not a good sign. I got 2 Show and Tells actually there. Can't flashback my therapy without it getting Bobble countered. We could still lose to like lands and oaths here. Another wasteland. Oh, I can pick up Lurrus. I think lands and oath is like the most likely way I could lose this game. But I also need to play cards, so. Okay. Pitched an orchard to hand size. I think that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think my opponent skipped through it. Yeah, my opponent might be playing a little too fast here. Or, you know, sad about the turn 1. I've been there. I've done that. Happens to the best of us. So I'm going to bring in 4 Containment Priests. So maybe my deck building is just insane. I'm going to bring in 4 Containment Priests. I don't know how many swords I want to play. I don't know that some of these other cards are that good on the draw. Definitely don't need a Johnny's. Kind of want to have some access to Mindbreak Traps on the draw here. I kind of don't mind, like, any amount of Stony Silences. So maybe the answer is, like, I have a Caracas in my deck. Maybe I don't need these swords. I feel like I could technically grind my opponent out with swords. I just don't know if that's really what I want to be doing. I think I want access to all of my things that are interactive. I'm going to get rid of the Chalice on the draw. I don't actually think these MacDs are that good. I don't think we want Serenity. It's kind of hard to use against Oath. Serenity is really just for Sphere Shops. I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a Swords over another MacD. Try that. Our big ones here are going to be Containment Priest. So kind of just don't want our opponent to put a Trax into play. Yeah, I mean, we have a Jet and we have a turn 1 Containment Priest. Can't really ask for more. Ancestral? No. Okay. In that case, I think I'm going to Thoughtseize my opponent. Mental Misstep. All right. I'm gonna play an Ocelot Pride. Is this a Surveil land? Or is it a Lorien? It's a Surveil land. Unfortunately, my Thoughtseize got Mental Misstep. That is a big downside. And so we have no protection against Force on our Containment Priest, which is unfortunate. But I think it is what it is. They binned an Oath. It's not a good sign. It either means they don't have another land or they already have a bunch of Oaths. Probe. All right, well, now they know I have a Containment Priest. Binned an Oath. Must have a second Oath. All right, well, we're going to look for... I don't even think if we have any cards that help us resolve Containment Priest, so... Yeah, I'm going to resolve a Containment Priest. Or I'm going to lose. Okay. I'll hit the black source. Okay. Another black source. Could have an Abrupt Decay on my Containment Priest. Guide. What does a guide do? The Bowmaster's stronger for this spot. I guess what does making an Army token copy do? I actually have no idea how that works. Do I get anything from an extra Army token copy? No. Okay. Good to know, I guess. Abrupt Decay on my Containment Priest? Or... yeah, it looks like it. Oh, Vamp. Vamp might not be good enough. Because Vamp doesn't happen yet. What does this Vamp get? Time Walk, maybe. No, it doesn't do it. They have to not die. Oh, wait. They do currently not die by destroying the Containment Priest. But then the second Bowmaster kills them, right? I guess they could... Yeah, they have Abrupt Decay, but that's not enough. Exact lethal. Wow. Crazy. All right, 3-0. Cat. We won a lot of die rolls too, which is very helpful. All right, another cat matchup. Well, see if it's a different one than Frog. If we're on against PO, maybe. I can't imagine not keeping this. So we do need to draw action if we keep this hand, but unfortunately we have an Orcish Bowmaster in our hand and not a paradoxical outcome. Where's my cat? There it is. This is yeah, I guess it depends on what we're playing against. Do I think they have an Ancestral Recall and I should have just cast this Bowmaster? I guess it doesn't matter. I guess we just wait. May as well. Brainstorm, nice. Got there. I guess I can't freaking get a basic swamp again, so. Alright, you got to force my Bowmaster? It'd be really bad for them if they have to force my Bowmaster. Well, that went about as well as it could have gone. I'm glad I waited on my Bowmaster. Maybe I should just main phase my Bowmaster, but I didn't really know. Maybe the answer might just always be main phase your Bowmaster, realistically here. But that's okay. They are now way more likely to have Lurrus, or force for Lurrus, but I think that's fine. Follow up Lurrus here with a pedal. I feel like it's kind of hard for them to be forcing, but all right, cool. I mean, we got a solid army. Hard to have this much fast mana without having a Lotus. We have a good follow-up, and it's hard to force the follow-up, so feel pretty good. We don't technically know if our opponent is on any specific kind of Lurrus yet. It's more likely than not that they're on Blue-Black Frog or Esper Frog, because PO doesn't usually play Brainstorm anymore, and neither does Gifts Breach, but they could be on Doomsday. Just a thing we have to think about. Probably boarding like our opponent is on Frog, and I'm just going to bring in Swords. I guess I can hedge on a Doomsday by just having some traps in my side, and they're not even like that bad. They're like not good, but the Sony Silences aren't good either, so maybe I'll just hedge a little bit and just play some traps as well. Like I said, I think we need to change out our sideboard to be have a better mapping versus Frog. Yeah, I also think I probably need to have more black sources in my deck. Those are the two things that I think are really bad here. I don't know exactly what that means in terms of like maybe one of these planes becomes a sewers, but or whatever the market side. I forget. I don't know what it's called. Probably not, because I kind of want to just always have mana on turn one. I mean, maybe the answer is more white fetches. 2 more white fetches instead of 4 basics, so that the white fetches can get their scrub lands. Those are the things that have caught my eye. I don't think I'm allowed to mulligan this hand, though, so hopefully we'll find our extra black mana along the way. And the answer might just be like a swamp in the board as well. God, are we getting Ancestraled? That's really bad. Yeah, we are. All right, well, at least we have a basic here. The problem is I don't have a black source. All right, Vexing Bauble and Swords. See what opponents got. Frog would be great for us here. Frog is basically the best thing we can possibly see. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing we can possibly see because we have an uncounterable Swords. into Wasteland. I do have I have a black mana problem though, I think. Yeah. Especially because I keep getting Wastelanded off black mana. Man, if I had a black mana here, it'd be so good. Yeah. Okay. I mean, a swamp in the board is the least we can do. If not, maybe some more white fetches instead of basics. I don't know. I like having a lot of basics in my deck, but I definitely did not reevaluate my mana base situation after I added a bunch of additional black cards. So we are playing against Frog though with the Wasteland. So this is like the nice part here. Like I'm not getting Wastelanded. I can just freaking buy Lurrus. The problem is I need a black mana. I would be pretty sad if I get Bowmaster Twisted here, but I don't think I'm allowed to not do anything and like have swords up for Bowmaster. I got Twisted. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. I'm bringing this Chalice back in and bring my Stony Silence back in and run it back. I don't think I'm allowed to hold open swords on that that turn there. It just feels really bad. Like buying Lurrus is important there. Maybe I'm wrong. That game was really hard off the bat by Ancestral resolving, and then we kept a hand with no black mana, and I got punished for it, so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to keep these hands. Like, they're not powerful, but these are the kind of hands that beat Frog, so just cards and things. All right, well, show me your secrets and hopefully draw me some action. Pierce, Force, Frog, Bowmaster, Swamp. I see. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a swords for a Frog. I assume they're going to force this May, though. Yeah. Force, Pitch, Pierce. Then they play a Swamp and Pass. Or Misty and Pass, sure. Then we get to do two things, which is nice. We can go... I'm going to get Caracas down now. And I'm going to play an Ocelot. Oh, I guess I shouldn't play an Ocelot Pride into a Bowmaster, but I also kind of want to incentivize them to play Bowmaster instead of... It's weird. Like, I kind of want them to play Bowmaster here. Because if they play Bowmaster, I Wasteland and I Lurrus and I buy back Ocelot Pride. It's actually insane. They kept in Trap. Okay. Like, I don't want them to play Frog, so this actually incentivizes that. So it actually ends up really nice for me. I guess they can do it. They can wait, so... But I think it still ends up pretty nice for me. Because now I have a Wasteland. And now they have to play Bowmaster. And then I'm just going to play Lurrus and play a thing. So they'll have to have drawn a removal spell. I'm going down on my Caracas, but I think it's worth it, so... Like, obviously I'm exposing my Lurrus to a removal spell here, but I think it's worth it. I think my opponent was supposed to fetch Basic Island. That could be a pretty game-losing mistake, so... Now I've got Lurrus, Caracas stuff up. I can't imagine we can lose from that. I played the wrong land. Played the wrong land. Okay, what I can do is I can attack with Ocelot Pride. And if they double block, I just replay Ocelot Pride. And if they don't, then I play my... I should have fetched another scrub land there, so I could have played this Bowmaster. It's a pretty bad mistake again. I haven't played a very clean league, all things considered, but my deck has been carrying me, so now I have Caracas up on my two things and we win. Okay, our deck is sick. I just need to play better, and I think I have a couple more things to fix, but not too bad. All right, let's see that. See if we can get a trophy. I want another die roll. Let's see if I can get a trophy here. I think I played pretty badly, but our deck has been carrying us, and We have some deck building issues, but overall, solid. I don't know if this is actually allowed to be a keep because our opponent is not revealed Lurrus. But if it's mono white, this hand's good. If it's dredge, this hand is good. If it's Jewel or Raker, it's bad. If it's Sphere Shops, it's good. So it's like kind of tough, you know? I am going to incentivize a Wasteland from our opponent by playing a Scrubland out here. Because I have good follow-ups, so... I feel like the tempo loss of getting Wastelanded here for our opponent would be really good for us. Opponent is reading Guide of Souls, maybe? I think winning this game is going to hinge entirely on, is this Wasteland good? And I think that's acceptable, but if I had a good idea of what my opponent forced the thing, pitching show and tell. Okay, well, that's not a good sign. Our deck is just not very good against Oath in game 1 in general, so this is actually a hand I'm like not even super upset about. They have no follow-up land at all. Or they just hit F6. They just have no land at all. Okay. Well, this worked out unbelievably well because I will Thoughtseize my opponent. And I'll play my threats and get a cat. And I'll have a Wasteland in the back. I can buy Lurrus and get my guide back. We might win this game. If we can get up a game and then have 2 games with 4 Containment Priests to make it work. Looks like I'm getting double force, which makes sense if my opponent kept a no-lander. They must have an Ancestral too, right? Pitched a Flusterstorm. All right. Guide of Souls. Ocelot Pride. Get a token. All right, if we draw a creature next turn, we can fly. If not, we buy Lurrus. We have a Wasteland still coming. Chalice. I'm going to definitely Chalice on 0. So it looks like I'm going to definitely Chalice on 0. It's going to eliminate a lot of the ways we can lose. Play it all out. Get another cat. They don't really have very many turns left. I think they might even be like not dead on the next attack, but yeah. All right. Well, okay. All right. So we're show and tell. Kept a risky hand. We are gonna bring in 4 Containment Priests and 2 Mindbreak Traps like last time. Taking out Chalice on the draw here. Maybe we'll bring in some Stony Silences. Don't really like MacD. Don't like Swords. I think I'll keep Probe, and then I'll take out Johnny's. How did I do this last time? Did I not take out a Johnny last time? I must have not taken out a Johnny last time. I guess I'll keep a Swords over a Johnny. I don't know. I must have missed something. Maybe I didn't bring in 4 Stony Silence on the draw. But I feel like a Johnny is like not necessary at all here. A Johnny is really for like the Lurrus matchup. Lurrus Frog matchup. We have a decent chance here. We have a decent chance here. I like our deck. We need to fix some things, but I like our deck. We need a couple more black sources, and we need a better mapping for Frog. But overall, everything's worked. I will say a Johnny, I guess, was the most underwhelming, but we didn't really get to play it against the Frog matchups where we really wanted it. And we could definitely take out a Johnny. I just felt like the synergy with Therapy is really high. It's quite strong. I've been really happy with Guide of Souls. I've been happy with Ocelot Pride. I've been happy with Therapy. Been happy with Thoughtseize. Happy with swords. Happy with bauble and chalice. Happy with Stony. Yeah, I mean, this deck has been good to us. Like I said, I don't think we played well, so this hand is not getting kept. Not against show and tell deck. We're gonna try to find a Mindbreak Trap hand and a Containment Priest hand. Did I bring my Containment Priest in? I did. Okay. I should, something was different in that mapping than last time, and I just don't know why. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Opponent kept 7. I have a Containment Priest here, but no fast mana and no ability to cast Therapy. I feel like this has to go too. And then here I just have nothing good. I'm gonna let this one go as well. These kind of hands were fine in that game 1 situation, but in game 2 on the draw against show and tell, I just don't think that's good. I mean, this is gonna have to do it, but it's obviously not very good either. I think I'm gonna keep... Yeah, I'm just gonna keep both removal and 2 lands and try to get there. Maybe I'm supposed to keep Lotus Petal in case I draw turn 1 Containment Priest, actually. Yeah, probably supposed to keep Lotus Petal. I just felt like having 2 lands would be really strong, but... I really needed something better. Having 2 lands feels like kind of important, though. I'll use my opponent. See if this is enough. Hopefully this Salty is enough to get us through, but we'll see what happens. No. Vamp in response. That can't be good for me. Vamp and Mystical are very good against Thoughtseize effects. Discard. Yeah. I don't know. I think those were disciplined mulligans. I think the kind of things we have to do. Like, the problem here is, as long as my opponent can figure out a good thing to vamp for, we're pretty screwed. So, if they vamp for Ancestral, even if they don't have AVs, if they vamp for Ancestral, it's good enough, probably. But, I mean, we mulligan super deep to try to find a hand that actually interacted with our opponent in a meaningful way. Hopefully, we can have a game 2 where we can attack our opponent's hand and have an early Containment Priest. Game 3. They're thinking deep on the vamp. I don't know if they feel like their hand, maybe there's a combination of cards that they could have. If they don't feel like they can put together a combination of cards through a Thoughtseize, it's just an Ancestral. It's pretty straightforward. So my opponent can just go show and tell. Because they have 2 Atraxas. If they had 1 Atraxa, I think I'm probably incentivized to hit the Atraxa. But if they have 2 Atraxas, they can just go show and tell and kill us. Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose this game. There's nothing we can do about this. We mulligan, none of our hands would have beat this hand, and we lose. I think it's acceptable. I'm going to play a Bowmaster just because if their Attractor trigger is really bad and we draw Caracas, we could theoretically win still. Their Attractor trigger is very, very broken. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to just sit there and do that. So I'm gonna bring Chalice back in, and I'm gonna take the swords back out. I really don't think swords is ever winning against a show and tell Atraxa. And I think I'm just gonna keep the traps in. I don't think the traps are good, but I think it's just an extra way of giving us a chance. Like I said, I don't really think this is a great matchup besides the fact that we have the Containment Priest 4 of. If we can get ourselves to a point where we can get some Containment Priest in play, that's where this becomes super good for us. But sometimes, Containment Priest requires us to have one of these 7 cards, so it's a 2-card combination with this, or us have a pretty solid Thoughtseize opener, or a Chalice opener, or a Bauble opener that gets us to turn 2 to cast Containment Priest. A lot of our cards are not that good here. May is good. Bowmaster is not very good. Stony Silence is okay on the play here. So we have some options, but we'll see. We'll see. I will say our upgrades to the deck have been good. Chalice has been good. Bauble has been good. Probe has been good. Oh, except for the one time the probe was dead because my opponent had to turn one Bowmaster. But I don't think you worry about that too much. I'm hoping we have a solid 7-card hand here that battles against our opponent. I'd love to get a trophy with this deck and try to kickstart people playing it. It'd be a really cool deck to have in the metagame. Man, these hands are just not it. These hands are just not it. I have to let that go. This is it. This is what we're looking for. It's not the best, but is it. I'm going to go with the 1 drop down, and I need to hit on this Cabal Therapy. But I don't know what I'm supposed to freaking name is the problem. I think I just have to name Force of Will. Which is like not actually stopping my opponent from doing anything, unfortunately, but it might help my Containment Priest resolve, so I have to hope I just don't get turn one by like show and tell. But I mean, like, this is not our best hand, right? Our best hand is probably, you know, obviously Lotus, but like our best hands are more like Thoughtseize on turn 1, or Moxen so I can play Priest on turn 1, or, you know, combinations of those two. But this is fine. Like, this is well within range of keep, so. If my opponent has a mental misstep or a negation, they should always probably fire it off here. And if they have a force, they can, like, this is like, I don't know, that's like the kind of the question. They have a mental misstep. All right, I would just always have fired that off the fastest thing possible, so. All right, time to find out if our opponent kills us on turn 1. Also, my opponent can now still have a forcible protection for Containment Priests, which is really bad. There are some sequences here where we change up what we're doing. If we maybe draw like a Thoughtseize, we could theoretically go Wasteland Thoughtseize, depending on their play. But I don't know. We'll see. Opponent kept, what, 7 in this game? Yeah. I mean, then we know that they're willing to keep some risky 7s based on game 1. But who knows? Who knows? All right, well, they're in deep in thought. I don't think unless we draw a 1-mana spell that matters, I don't think our process is very much changing. It's likely we have to get a Containment Priest going no matter what. Could be wrong. I mean, depends. Like, if they have a really slow hand, then maybe we can start with May, but I feel like it's kind of unlikely. Containment Priest. We do need to, like, put our priest into play before show and tell resolves, or before oath triggers. So that's like our time constraint here. Opponent is still in the tank. Don't know what's going on. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to talk about because I have white and black 2-drops in my hand. True Hatebears. All right, here we go. Tropical Island. Sapphire. Oath. Oath. Okay. So that means I can't play May. What I can do is Wasteland my opponent if I want to not play Priest right away. Does that help me? I have to be worried about Oko. I'm going to Wasteland my opponent. I have to resolve a Priest before I can resolve any other of my other creatures as well. I don't really like our spot, unfortunately, but what am I going to do? Misstep on my therapy. Can't even Wasteland this one. If my opponent ever resolves an Oko, we'd basically lose on the spot. We just like don't have the tools to be a 3-mana planeswalker that beats all of our things on the board. Which is kind of one of the biggest reasons why we saw an Oko in game 2. I wanted to hit this tropical island because of that. I can't really wasteland again anyways because I need the mana to play my priest, so. It's a bad spot. It's a bad spot. Damn. Wish my opponent would make choices. Let's play Magic. Let's do it. But I don't know. Who knows what's going on? Not I. What could they be thinking about? Ice cream? All right. What can I draw that's good? Vexing Bauble. I actually think I will play Vexing Bauble to help try to get my Containment Priest through a Force of Will. Because if my Containment Priest gets countered, I'm in like basically can't win spot. All right. I played my land. Can't be wastelanding unless I find another mana. That's not a Mox now because I played a Vexing Bauble. Unfortunately, I guess if my opponent just goes like land show and tell here, I'm in trouble, but I don't know. Like, I'm in a bad spot, right? I'm in a very bad spot. Hopefully they fetch Basic Island. No. Demonic. Okay. So they're going to Demonic for Orchard, which is fine because we do have a Priest. And hopefully they, this makes them use up their tutor for an Orchard. This is okay. I drew an Emerald. Okay. All right, well, now they need a removal spell. Okay, you got a removal spell as your last 4 cards after DTing. I guess at some point we can theoretically crack our Bauble to play an Emerald because we don't care about Force anymore. We'll see if they have a removal spell, and then we'll see if they have an Oko. If they have both, then we lose. Or if they have one or the other, we lose. If not, we can still play the game, so. All right, they didn't have a removal spell. You have an Oko. Because I do want to actually wasteland my opponent if they don't have a removal spell. Get them off of Abrupt Decay mana, get them off of Oko mana. Especially if they miss on a land. I have a Therapy out of my yard that I can't cast with this. Okay, so I'm going to wasteland my opponent's Forbidden Orchard. And then I'm going to attack for 3. And then I'm going to... I'm just going to play May, actually. I was thinking about, like, cracking. I feel like resolving this is actually a good way to make sure the clock stays the same, as good as it is. Maybe next turn we can look at cracking and therapying, but I don't even know, like, what we're therapying against. Like, if my opponent has an answer, they would have just used the answer, right? So, like, it doesn't really help us, the therapy. I don't even know what we can therapy and name that is actually helping us. That's an insane draw. That is an insane draw. It's going to really limit my opponent's ability to play. I mean, I guess it's not insane because it's not stopping them from playing on Abrupt Decay, but... I mean, I'm down to just lock myself out of this therapy, and I hope that's enough. Should be. Should be enough. One Containment Priest and a Dream? The Vexing Bauble might have saved us. Like, they might have a Force of Will in their hand, and the Vexing Bauble made the Priest resolve. You never know. Tap land. I think it's too slow now if they have Abrupt Decay. Snuff Out. Wow. We got in before Snuff Out. That would have been a brutal one. Therapy. Okay, so what could we possibly therapy for that would help us here? My opponent is at 4 life. They can cast 1 spell on May. What could I possibly cast therapy on here? Balance? Toxic Deluge? No. I don't even know what I could possibly cast it on here that would help me. Abrupt Decay, 3 Snuff Outs. I'm just going to cast it on Abrupt Decay. I guess Bowmaster prevents Ancestral, but then they can't cast another spell after anyways, so I'll just name Abrupt Decay. Alright, I'll just name Abrupt Decay. See if they have a Forcible in their hand after all of this. It'd be pretty cool to see if Bobble won us this game. That's kind of a nice part about seeing cards off of Therapies and Thoughtseize is you get to see a little bit more about what was in your opponent's hand, so you can kind of evaluate how good your cards were. I'll be pretty happy. They're just out of here. They're out of here. Okay. Well. Sweet. I mean, I did exactly what I set out to do. I think this deck is good. I think this deck is very playable. I'm very impressed with this deck. Like I said, I think the things I would work on here are maybe adding a couple more black sources. That might mean like 2 white fetches here instead of 2 plains. Any white fetches are good. So probably like 1 of each of 2 colors of white fetches. And then I'd probably put a swamp in the side for my marsh flats. Obviously, my fetch base here was actually bad because I didn't actually put a swamp in my deck. So I should have had like 1 of each kind of fetch or whatever, but who cares? So yeah, I would say, I guess we can, should we make the changes now? I will, yeah, I mean, we can make the changes now. So I will make a new copy. Where's that Aggro 2? Or where's that Aggro 1, 2? I will go 2 planes down for 1 strand, probably 1 strand, 1 something else. Probably not Arid Mesa. Probably 1 strand, and I guess it could be Arid Mesa or 1 Wooden Sepith. And then I want to swamp in the board. I feel like I want to be able to fetch swamp against Lurrus Frog. And then to facilitate that, you almost certainly have to go down to Serenity. And then we wanted, what, 1 more card against Frog? So I don't know how, I mean, you'd have to like lose a Stormmod script to do that. I don't know if I'm willing to do that. Because what were we boarding out? We were boarding out Chalice and 2 Stonies, and we can bring in Swamp Swords and +1. Maybe what we can do is change a thing into a Lantern, and then we can bring in Lantern. And that seems like at least it's something. Does something. It's a looping card for our Lurrus, and it hits their yard. I think that works. So this is how I would how I would move forward on this deck. I would try these changes. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this 5-0. I am here trying to, my goal is to show people that there are tons more playable vintage decks than are currently played. My catchphrase has always been, there are more playable vintage decks than there are vintage players. And so when I make a good deck, sometimes it just doesn't get picked up by anybody. No one plays it and it goes away, but it doesn't mean it's not playable. It just means no one's playing it. So this was one of my efforts, is to make a playable Lurrus aggro deck. I think we've succeeded. I'll be completely honest with you. Obviously, this was one league, but the other leagues have gone well. I've done challenge top 8s and 4-2s with similar styles of this deck. So I'm pretty convinced that there's something here that's worth playing, especially with Mono White Initiative being on the downturn. But Ocelot Pride Guide of Souls is actually quite decent against Mono White Initiative. So this might be the key we need to be able to play this kind of deck in Vintage. The next goal will be getting another Riddler deck into play. I know I've won Vintage challenges with non-Lurrus Riddler blue control, but I still can't get anyone to play it. So it means I'll have to do some more work, right? Thank you for watching more Vintage videos on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.